Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other socials for more. Enjoy. Nick's fingers trembled as he smoothed down the silky fabric of the emerald green dress. For years, this had been his secret ritual, a clandestine indulgence in the depths of night when the world slept and he could finally be true to himself. The soft caress of feminine clothing against his skin brought a sense of completeness he couldn't find elsewhere. Nick adjusted the brunette wig, ensuring it sat perfectly atop his head. The long, wavy locks framed his face, softening his features. With a practiced hand, he applied a coat of ruby red lipstick, the color bold against his pale skin. Just one more minute, he whispered to his reflection, drinking in the sight of his transformation. The sudden creak of the bedroom door shattered the silence. Nick's blood ran cold as he saw Jenny's reflection in the mirror, her eyes wide with shock. "Nick?" Her voice was barely above a whisper. What is this?" Time seemed to stand still as Nick's carefully constructed world crumbled around him. He turned slowly, his heart pounding so loudly he was sure Jenny could hear it. "Jenny, I can explain," he stammered, his voice cracking with emotion. Jenny took a tentative step forward, her gaze traveling from Nick's wig to his dress, then back to his face. Nick braced himself for the worst: anger, disgust, rejection. But what he saw in her eyes was something entirely unexpected: curiosity. "How long?" she asked softly. Nick swallowed hard. Since forever, really? I've always felt this way." Jenny nodded slowly, processing the information. "And you never told me?" "I was afraid," Nick admitted, his eyes brimming with unshed tears. "I didn't want to lose you." A moment of silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken words. Then, to Nick's utter amazement, Jenny's lips curved into a small smile. "You look beautiful," she said, her voice filled with warmth. Nick blinked, certain he had misheard. You're not upset?" Jenny closed the distance between them, taking Nick's trembling hands in hers. "I'm surprised, yes, but upset? No. This is part of who you are, Nick, and I love all of you." Relief washed over Nick like a tidal wave, and he found himself enveloped in Jenny's embrace. As they stood there, holding each other close, Nick felt a weight lift from his shoulders, a burden he had carried for far too long. "I want to understand," Jenny murmured against his shoulder. "Will you help me?" Nick pulled back slightly, meeting her gaze. "Of course. Anything you want to know?" Jenny's eyes sparkled with a mixture of curiosity and excitement. "Well, for starters, where did you get this dress? It's gorgeous!" A chuckle escaped Nick's lips, the tension in his body slowly dissipating. "Online shopping. I have them delivered to a P.O. box." "Clever," Jenny nodded approvingly. "But from now on, no more secrets, okay? We're in this together." Nick felt a warmth spread through his chest at her words. "Together," he echoed, squeezing her hand. Jenny stepped back, her gaze sweeping over Nick's outfit once more. "You know, that shade of green really suits you, but I think we could do better with the makeup. Want some help?" Nick's eyes widened in surprise. You do that?" "Of course!" Jenny grinned, already moving towards her vanity. "I've always wanted a sister to give makeovers to. Now I have one." As Jenny rummaged through her makeup collection, Nick felt a surge of love and gratitude for this incredible woman who had accepted him so completely. He watched as she returned with an array of brushes and palettes, her face alight with enthusiasm. "Okay, sit down," Jenny instructed, patting the edge of the bed. "Let's see what we can do to really make those eyes pop." Nick obediently took a seat, closing his eyes as Jenny began to work her magic. The gentle touch of the brush against his eyelids was soothing, and he found himself relaxing into the experience. "So," Jenny said as she blended eyeshadow, "do you have a name? You know, for when you're dressed like this?" Nick hesitated for a moment before answering. "Natalie." I have always liked the name Natalie. Natalie? Jenny repeated, testing the name on her tongue. It suits you. Open your eyes, let me see how this looks. Nick complied, and Jenny stepped back to admire her handiwork. Oh, yes, much better. The smoky eye really brings out the green in your irises. As Jenny continued to fuss over his makeup, Nick felt a sense of surrealism wash over him. Never in his wildest dreams had he imagined a scenario where his wife would be helping him with his cross-dressing. It was more than he could have ever hoped for. There, Jenny said finally, setting down the lipstick. Take a look. Nick turned to the mirror and gasped softly. The face that looked back at him was a perfect blend of his own features and feminine beauty. The makeup accentuated his cheekbones and made his eyes appear larger, more alluring. Jenny, this is incredible, he breathed. Jenny beamed with pride. You're a natural beauty, Natalie. We just needed to bring it out a little more. The use of his feminine name sent a thrill through Nick. He turned to Jenny, overwhelmed with emotion. Thank you for everything. I don't know what I did to deserve you. Jenny cupped his face gently, mindful of the freshly applied makeup. You're you. That's all I've ever wanted or needed. You know what we should do? We should go shopping. Get you some proper outfits, maybe some shoes. What do you think? Nick's heart raced at the suggestion. Shopping? You mean Mirene's out in public? Jenny nodded enthusiastically. Why not? We could go to the next town over where nobody knows us. Make a day of it. The idea was both thrilling and terrifying. Nick had never ventured out dressed as Natalie before, but with Jenny by his side, he felt a newfound courage. Okay, he agreed, a nervous smile playing on his lips. Let's do it. Jenny clapped her hands excitedly. Wonderful! We'll go this weekend. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. As Jenny chattered away, making plans for their shopping trip, Nick felt a sense of peace settle over him. For the first time in his life, he felt truly seen and accepted for who he was. All parts of him. The next few days passed in a whirlwind of anticipation and preparation. Jenny threw herself into planning their shopping expedition with gusto, researching transgender-friendly boutiques in the neighboring town and making a list of essential items they needed to acquire. Nick, for his part, oscillated between excitement and anxiety. The prospect of stepping out in public as Natalie was both exhilarating and terrifying. But Jenny's unwavering support and enthusiasm buoyed his spirits, giving him the courage to face this new adventure. Finally, the day of their shopping trip arrived. Nick woke early, his stomach fluttering with nervous energy. He showered and shaved meticulously, paying extra attention to ensure his skin was smooth and stubble-free. Jenny knocked on the bathroom door. You okay in there, honey? Just finishing up, Nick called back, patting his face dry. When he emerged from the bathroom, he found Jenny waiting with a garment bag. I thought we could start your transformation here, she said with a smile. That way you'll be comfortable for the drive. Nick's heart swelled with gratitude. You've thought of everything, haven't you? Jenny winked. That's what wives are for. Now let's get you dressed. With Jenny's help, Nick slipped into a flattering A-line dress in a soft powder blue. The fabric was light and airy, perfect for the warm spring day. Jenny had even thought to bring a padded bra to create the illusion of a feminine silhouette. As Nick settled into the passenger seat of their car, he couldn't help but marvel at how natural it felt. The soft fabric of the dress against his skin, the gentle sway of the wig as he moved, it all felt right. Jenny started the car and pulled out of their driveway. Ready for your big debut, Natalie? Nick took a deep breath and nodded. As ready as I'll ever be. The drive to the neighboring town passed quickly, filled with light conversation and shared laughter. As they approached their destination, Nick felt his nerves return full force. What if someone realizes? He whispered, his hands fidgeting in his lap. Jenny reached over and squeezed his hand reassuringly. Then they'll see a beautiful woman out shopping with her friend. Don't worry, Natalie. You look amazing, and I'll be right beside you the whole time. Her words calmed Nick's racing heart, and he managed a small smile as they pulled into the parking lot of a quaint boutique. "Here we are," Jenny announced, turning off the engine. "Our first stop, Bella's Boutique. They specialize in clothing for transgender women and crossdressers. The reviews say they're very welcoming and discreet." Nick nodded, taking a deep breath to steady himself. "Okay, let's do this." They stepped out of the car, and Nick felt the warm spring sun on his face. For a moment, he stood still, half expecting people to stop and stare. But life continued as normal around them, people walking by, engrossed in their own lives, paying no attention to the nervous woman in the blue dress. Jenny linked her arm through Nick's. "See? You're just another shopper out for a day of retail therapy. Now, let's go find you some fabulous outfits." As they entered the boutique, a little bell chimed above the door. The interior was cozy and inviting, with racks of colorful clothing lining the walls and soft music playing in the background. A tall, elegant woman with short silver hair approached them with a warm smile. "Welcome to Bella's. I'm Bella. Is this your first time visiting us?" Nick felt his throat close up, suddenly unable to speak. Jenny smoothly stepped in. "Yes, it is. I'm Jenny, and this is my friend Natalie. We're looking to expand her wardrobe a bit." Bella's smile widened. "Wonderful! Natalie, you've come to the right place. We have a wide selection of styles and sizes, and our fitting rooms are designed for comfort and privacy. Why don't you two have a look around, and I'll be here if you need any assistance." Nick managed a grateful nod, and Bella tactfully moved away, giving them space to browse. "See?" Jenny whispered. "Nothing to worry about. Now, where should we start?" They moved through the store, running their hands over soft fabrics and admiring the variety of styles. Jenny pulled out a sleek black cocktail dress. "Oh, Natalie, this would look stunning on you." Nick touched the silky material, imagining how it would feel against his skin. "It's beautiful," he agreed. "Try it on," Jenny encouraged. "In fact, let's grab a few things for you to try." Before long, they had amassed a small mountain of clothing, dresses, skirts, blouses, and even a pair of tailored slacks. Bella appeared as if by magic, guiding them to a spacious fitting room. "Take your time," she said kindly. "And remember, we're here to help you feel beautiful and confident." As the fitting room door closed behind them, Nick felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. Jenny hung up the clothes and turned to him with a grin. "Ready for a fashion show?" Nick couldn't help but smile back. "As I'll ever be." What followed was a whirlwind of fabric and laughter. Nick tried on outfit after outfit, each one bringing out a different aspect of Natalie. The black cocktail dress made him feel sophisticated and glamorous. A flowy floral sundress brought out a softer, more playful side. Jenny was an enthusiastic audience, offering encouragement and honest feedback in equal measure. "Oh, that color is perfect on you," she'd exclaim. Or, maybe we should try a different cut for that one." As Nick slipped into a deep purple wrap dress, he caught sight of himself in the mirror and paused. For the first time, he truly saw Natalie looking back at him, confident, beautiful, and real. "Jenny," he breathed. "Look at this one." Jenny came to stand behind him, her eyes widening as she took in the transformation. "Oh, Natalie," she whispered. "You look absolutely gorgeous." Tears pricked at Nick's eyes, and he blinked them away, not wanting to ruin his makeup. "I never thought I could look like this," he admitted softly. Jenny wrapped her arms around him from behind, resting her chin on his shoulder. "This is who you've always been inside. We're just letting her shine through now." They stood there for a moment, both admiring Natalie's reflection in the mirror. Then Jenny gave him a playful squeeze. "All right, enough Mishi stuff. We've got more outfits to try." By the time they'd worked their way through the pile of clothes, Nick felt like a new person. They ended up purchasing several outfits, including the purple wrap dress that had caused such a moment of revelation. As Bella rang up their purchases, she smiled warmly at Nick. I hope you found everything you were looking for, Natalie. You have excellent taste. Nick felt a flush of pleasure at the compliment. Thank you, he said, his voice soft but steady. You've been so kind and helpful. That's what we're here for, Bella replied. I hope we'll see you again soon. As they left the boutique, bags in hand, Nick felt a newfound confidence. The world hadn't ended when he stepped out as Natalie. In fact, it had opened up in ways he'd never imagined possible. Where to next? Jenny asked, a mischievous glint in her eye. Nick considered for a moment. Well, I suppose I need shoes to go with these outfits, don't I? Jenny's face lit up. Now you're talking. I know just the place. They spent the rest of the afternoon moving from shop to shop. Nick tried on heels for the first time, marveling at how they changed his posture and the way he walked. They picked out accessories, scarves, jewelry, and a small, elegant purse. At Jenny's insistence, they even visited a high-end makeup store where a friendly consultant helped Nick choose products that would complement his skin tone and taught him some basic application techniques. As the day wore on, Nick found himself relaxing more and more into his role as Natalie. He stopped constantly checking to see if people were staring at him and started to enjoy the experience of being out in the world as his true self. They stopped for a late lunch at a charming cafe, sitting at an outdoor table to enjoy the pleasant weather. As they sipped their coffee and nibbled on sandwiches, Nick couldn't help but marvel at the surreal nature of the situation. I can't believe we're doing this, he said, shaking his head in wonder. If someone had told me a week ago that I'd be sitting here dressed as Natalie having lunch with my wife, who not only accepts me but encourages this, I would have thought they were crazy. Jenny reached across the table and squeezed his hand. Life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? But I'm so glad we're here, Natalie. Seeing you like this, so happy and free, it makes me fall in love with you all over again. Nick felt his eyes welling up with tears for what felt like the 100th time that day. I love you so much, Jenny. I don't know how I got so lucky. We're both lucky, Jenny replied softly. Now, finish your sandwich. We've got one more stop to make before we head home. Their final destination turned out to be a small, discreet salon specializing in wigs and hairpieces. The owner, a vivacious woman named Margot, greeted them warmly. Jenny called ahead, she explained to Nick. She said you might be interested in finding a more permanent hair solution. Nick looked at Jenny in surprise. She shrugged, a small smile playing on her lips. I thought it might be nice for you to have something a little more... you. With Margot's expert guidance, Nick tried on several wigs, eventually settling on a shoulder-length style in a rich, warm brown that complemented his skin tone perfectly. The quality was far superior to anything he'd bought online, and the fit was so natural it felt like it was his own hair. As they left the salon, Nick couldn't stop running his fingers through the silky strands of his new wig. It's perfect, he said, unable to keep the wonder out of his voice. Jenny beamed at him. You're perfect, she corrected. The drive home was filled with a comfortable silence, both of them processing the events of the day. As they pulled into their driveway, the reality of returning to their normal life began to set in. Nick felt a pang of sadness as he realized he'd have to change back into his male clothes. Jenny, ever perceptive, noticed his mood shift. Hey, she said softly, turning to face him. This doesn't end here, you know? Natalie is a part of our life now, in whatever way feels right for you. Nick nodded, feeling a lump form in his throat. I know. It's just... today has been so amazing. I don't want it to end. It's not ending. It's just the beginning. As they carried their purchases into the house, Nick felt a sense of excitement building. This was indeed just the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. One where he could fully embrace all aspects of himself with the love and support of his incredible wife. That evening, as they sat on the couch surrounded by shopping bags, Jenny turned to Nick with a thoughtful expression. You know, I've been thinking. We should set up a space for Natalie in the spare room, somewhere you can keep your clothes and get ready without worrying about hiding everything. Nick's eyes widened at the suggestion. You'd be okay with that? Jenny nodded emphatically. More than okay. I want you to have a safe space to be yourself, whether that's Nick or Natalie. Overwhelmed with emotion, Nick pulled Jenny into a tight embrace. Thank you, he whispered against her hair. For everything. As they held each other, Nick felt a sense of peace wash over him. For the first time in his life, he felt truly whole, accepted for every facet of his being. With Jenny by his side, he knew he could face whatever challenges lay ahead. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity as they worked to create Natalie's space in the spare room. They installed a vanity with good lighting for makeup application, and Jenny insisted on buying a full-length mirror to properly admire your outfits, as she put it. Nick found himself spending more and more time as Natalie, not just in the privacy of their home, but venturing out on short trips to the grocery store or for walks in the park. Each outing built his confidence, and with Jenny's unwavering support, he began to fully embrace this part of himself. One evening, as they were getting ready for bed, Jenny turned to Nick with a mischievous glint in her eye. You know, we never did get to use that beautiful cocktail dress we bought. What do you say we plan a night out? Dinner, dancing, the works? Nick felt a flutter of excitement in his stomach. Really? You'd want to go out with me as Natalie? Jenny cupped his face in her hands. I want to go out with you, period. Nick, Natalie, you're the person I love, no matter what name or clothes you're wearing. Tears pricked at Nick's eyes as he leaned in to kiss his wife. I love you so much, he murmured against her lips. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more wonderful content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.